Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me once again Kenneth Bertholomey. Kenneth, good to have you back on.
What's up, guys? What's up, man? Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. And so, yeah, man, today we're going to be talking about the solar plexus. And so, this is something that's associated with the element of fire, isn't that right?
The element of fire, and it's responsible for your passions in life, for you, the fire behind getting you to achieve the goals, the things that you're trying to get accomplished in life. And when this chakra is blocked, it's going to lead you to a place where you feel dull, you feel life is boring, you don't have a bunch of energy for life. You're tired all day. It affects every part of life.
hmm Now, this is sort of like if someone is like sluggish a lot, they don't know why, but they just don't have energy for anything. They wake up tired, like they haven't hardly gotten any sleep.
Yes. So we can think of the chakras, the seven main chakras that run up the spinal column, as responsible for creating every aspect of your outward reality and your inward reality. So it's a part, each one of them are part of a specific function of the body. So when we're talking about the solar plexus, this is the stomach. This is responsible for all the internal organs in your body. So as above, so below. So as we feel within, we are projecting that outward. So when you're blocked here, this could be blocked from the diet. It could be blocked from not making decisions in your life. This is also, I find this blocked in a lot of people when it's hard for them to make decisions. They go back and forth with things instead of being able to make quick decisions about their life. But when this is blocked, it's going to lead you to a place where you're not looking forward to every day. Your days are dull and mundane, and this goes back to the way we all should be living our life. Never keeping both feet in the physical world, but we need to keep one foot in the spiritual world and one foot in the physical world, so that everything is balanced in our life. Every one of the chakras, when there's a blocked chakra or an imbalance in that system, it's going to be throwing off a part of your physical body, and then it's going to be throwing off a part of your physical world as well. So each one of the chakras, as we're learning to open up the chakra system, and when we achieve this, whenever you activate and open all seven chakras at one time, the Mercuba, or the light body, will activate. And when this takes place, most people's aura just goes around their body. When this takes place, it activates to a 6 foot by 6 foot golden shield. And this is when you really start tapping into your psychic gifts and abilities. It's the expansion of consciousness also that comes from this. So the sun chakra, this is most people don't get enough sun, man. It's right in front. Most people just don't realize how essential it is to your life. A lot of people find themselves in a place of sadness, depression, anxiety. A lot of these are coming from the bottom purposes that they don't get enough sun in their life, right? So getting out in the sun, that's a good way to bring the masculine energy in the body. But and again, the lower chakras are the masculine energy, and the upper chakras are the feminine energy, right? So you can open any chakras that you want to focus on in no specific order, but this chakra, when you open and activate this, you're going to be getting more passion in life, more direction. You're going to have more focus. You're going to have more clarity. Mental clarity comes with this too, because it allows the energy to travel up the spinal column into the upper chakras, right? So it's responsible for you achieving your goals and dreams. And when we're talking about the fire energy in our life, when we wake up in the day, we want to wake up and be excited about the day, man. Be passionate about the things that we do in life. And the reality of it is that most people are not at that place. Most people are at a place where they find same thing over and over again throughout their day, and it causes depression,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Now, you had mentioned about one way you can tell it's blocked is if you're indecisive. Um,
Yes.
Now, how would you say that would relate to Libras? Because it's kind of in their nature to kind of constantly trying to balance the scales and can sometimes be indecisive. Now, how would that apply to that group of people?
Yes. And so for the Libras, they're going to be, it's more mental, right? So this is more of going back and forth with yourself, not making snap decisions. What I see in the base of a lot of my clients is that most people, if you have something in your life that needs to change, and you're not changing it, you're not putting your foot down with yourself and making yourself do that, then that's going to lead to this chakra being blocked. And when that chakra is blocked from your indecisions, it's gonna snowball into every other aspect of your life. These are all your projection systems. So as you feel within, you'll be projecting that outward. So the people that you come into contact with on your daily life are all going to be affected by the way we feel. This is why it's so important for all of us to take responsibility for our energy. So as you can heal people with your energy, you can also hurt people with your energy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this gets into reverse kundalini or reverse reiki. This is when you spin the chakras backwards, and when this happens, I see it's called a reverse polarity. This will cause not only is the chakra blocked, but now we're going in the opposite direction. So now we're projecting out chaos, destruction, and misery. And a lot of times people do this on a subconscious level. So it's something that when we're not mindful of, it will spiral out of control, right? It's something that we learn to wield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very true. Now, would you agree that the solar plexus is sort of our ego identity connected to our self definition of who we are?
Yes, most definitely, man. Especially when we're talking about finding something that you're passionate in life. Most people walk around this place with no purpose in life, and this leads us to a place where we feel lost, confused, conflicted. And so when we find our passion, when we find something that we're passionate about, it's going to unlock all the other avenues in your life that were blocked previously. It's going to allow you to make different decisions that will put yourself in situations that are going to be better for you than just taking what we get dealt. Right? We all need to be consciously creating our reality. Most people are just letting life drag them by the feet, and they're just getting smacked on every branch as they go down the path. Right? So when we kick this chakra on, it allows us to really take control of the direction in your life, to start making the snap decisions and the going the way you should be going, instead of having so many things in life that I know I need to work on, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something else right now, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So this is at the bottom core level. This is putting your fucking foot down with yourself and making yourself do the things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that there's some crystals that are good for dealing with the solar plexus are, citrine, calcite, tiger's eye, crystals that sort of have a yellow tint to them. Would you say that certain healthy foods that have a yellow tint are good for the solar plexus, like bananas, oranges, etc.?
They most definitely are. And what at the core level, what we're working with is color, right? So any type of color that you implement into your life, if you're wanting to focus on that chakra, then we need to wear something with orange on it, or put orange in our path somewhere throughout your day, so that you're getting that imprint of that color. When as we're projecting this, also you can even see this in the physical body when people's color is off, when they're pale skin or they've got circles underneath their eyes. This chakra is blocked because you're not projecting that specific hue of color into the system, right? So think of these as your projections, right? So when we learn to open and balance all of these, you're projecting. So to focus on these, you're going to open them up with things like colors. So that's very color specific. That color is a specific frequency. That color is a specific vibration, right? And this is attuned to 528 hertz. So also listening to things like the Solfeggio frequencies, or different types of frequencies that are on that vibration. It helps to pull in the balance to the body.
Hmm. So would you say that frequencies, like let's say music that's sort of upbeat, kind of gives you energy, that type of frequency would be good?
That's a great question, man.
Yeah.
No, the problem with a lot of music that people listen to today, if you listen, for one thing, if you're trying to make change in your life right now and you're listening to any type of mainstream music or music with words, stop. Don't quit. And what we're looking for is to completely change up your palette of music. So we want to incorporate music with no words into our life, so that we're not being bombarded with any messages or unwanted subliminal inputs that we don't want. Most of the music that people listen to are attuned to frequencies that are extremely harmful for the body, extremely harmful for the mind. And most people just aren't aware of how much of an influence that it has over their life. But when they get you sitting there singing those repetitive lyrics that are talking about, you know, all the negative aspects to the human existence, you begin to generate that. This is why it's so important that when we get control of our avatar, we control the not just our emotions, but it's our words and our mind as well. So
Hmm.
the throat chakra and then the third eye chakra, these all correlate. The next chakra up, going up as you open these chakras, would be the heart chakra. So what you're doing is you're preparing the body to be able to project this type of energy. All right. Once you open all the energy systems in the body, you're able to move your consciousness up and down through the chakra system. So if I was working on something where I wanted to use my psychic gifts and abilities, I would move my consciousness up to the third eye and I would begin projecting from there. And you just learn to do this consciously. This is something I teach in all my sessions. But what you learn to do is you begin, let's say you're in a fight or flight situation. Sometimes we need to be able to, this goes back to anger, right? Most people, they can't express anger correctly and it ends up coming out in horrible ways. But when we learn to channel that, we learn to put this in through the solar plexus chakra, that so that we can use it to, whether it's a tool, a weapon, or whatever that is. So this is learning to direct our energy. Anytime a magician's working on casting spells, it needs to come from the solar plexus, right? And when we do this, we envision the energy coming out from the solar plexus, generating or creating whatever it is that we're looking for. This is where we're tapping into not only using color, but now we're using frequencies as well, which
Hmm.
all of these aspects are responsible for generating the entire reality right now.
Hmm. Now, you mentioned the fight or flight response. Would this have anything to do with, let's say, when you're in a bad situation and all of a sudden that people can have superhuman strength and can do certain things for like 5 seconds, or you know what I mean? Like anything to do with that?
Yes. Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. And each one of the chakras is accompanied with a specific psychic gift or ability. And again, that's why it's so important that we all learn to open and activate these consciously. Most people are running around here thinking that their chakras are open, and my third eye chakra is open. But this is a pitfall, because if you're walking around, you don't know you need to work on something, and then it's really blocked. It's a problem. So learning how to activate the chakras, when we're talking about even being creative, right? Using the next chakra down, the sacral chakra, when we can't be creative if we're not in a place where we feel balanced and safe through the solar, or through the root chakra, right?
Hmm.
So the
Right.
root chakra is our safety and our security. So as you move up the chakra system, we're learning to correlate and balance every aspect of our life, on the inside of the body as well as the outward reality.
Hmm. Now, would you say that the best way to unblock the solar plexus would be just to be as authentic and genuine as possible?
That's a great question, man. So there are many ways to work with this chakra, right? Among listening to the frequency, looking at the color, um, definitely putting your foot down with everything in your life. We've all got things in our life that we know need to change, but most people don't have the energy, the want, or the desire to accomplish it, right? So that right there, that's the defining moment that you need to push yourself. When you want to sit there and push something off or do it later, no, make yourself get up and go do it now. And this leads to your meditations. It leads to working magic, spell casting, rituals, pushing ourselves to get involved in our spiritual endeavors, right?
Hmm.
So it's all comes from the power that we're projecting. And this why this chakra is so important, because this is where your power comes from.
Now, would you say people tend to block the solar plexus by certain things they put in their stomach, like let's say junk food, if they're an alcoholic, that type of thing, that can all just damage your solar plexus, right?
It's all completely tied together, man. As we're learning to perfect ourselves, we have to understand that this is vibrating. This is a piece of technology that's vibrating at a specific rate. You have a certain rate of oscillation, and our job as we move up through the chakras is to vibrate at higher and higher rates of speed. Also learn to how to lower our density as well, but most people are too dense because they eat dense food, right? The thicker the food that you eat, especially when it comes to eating things like meat, processed foods, or sugars or fake sugars, these are all poison to the black magician, to the magician, to the witch. You could think of these as not only hurting your body, you're also poisoning your mind when we put these things inside the body. What we want to do is we want to be on the highest vibration of frequency of diet that there is, right? And this is where we eat completely plant based, right? So a lot of people put things inside their body that your body isn't prepared to break down. So now, not only are we blocked in our solar plexus, but now your internal organs, like the small intestine and the big intestine, are now blocked. Most people, walk around with about 5 pounds of shit that are stuck inside their stomach. There is an herb called Cascara Sagrada. If you guys are watching this, man, everybody needs to order this. This will cause your intestines to start vibrating. It's a tree bark, and it will push out everything that you're holding inside your stomach. This is the key to opening this chakra, because what we're looking to do is to feel again. As you do this, you're going to start becoming more and more sensitive to not just energy, but the magnetic fields of all things. So, and as you become more energy sensitive, this is where you're going to get an expansion in consciousness, because we assimilate. We know that we are all things.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Now, it seems to me like mainstream religion tends to attack the solar plexus a lot, especially Christianity, because you mentioned things like self-confidence,
Sure.
shame, putting yourself down. I mean, that's a result of mainstream religion, of Christianity.
Mhm.
Now, what would you recommend somebody who's coming out of that, understands that they have a problem with their solar plexus because of that? What would you recommend to them and say to them who are coming out of that and trying to heal that?
This goes back to the throat chakra. All right, so this is
Mhm.
where at this time in our life we need to sit down and become the most honest that we have ever been in our entire life. You cannot make any decisions in your life or any decisions to better yourself if we can't acknowledge that there's a fucking problem, right? So we begin to exercise this truth that we've never expressed before. We're working with the third eye. This is sitting down and really understanding, looking at your body and understanding, well, what needs to change, right? So most people, it's the words that come out of their mouth that that are the thoughts that they think negative about themselves, and that's what lowers your vibration and keeps people stuck in these lower states of consciousness. You could think of the lower chakras as the animalistic realms, the hellish realms, right? Your stomach is a bottomless pit. When it talks in religion about, the bottomless pit, they were referring to this. That's what this is. You will never fill this, right? Right now, there are thousands of people out there called breatharians. They live a complete life with no food, no water. They get their energy from the earth, from the sun, from the moon. And this just transpired in about the last 20 years. So this is an exciting time. This is what we all need to be working towards, is to be at a place where we don't have to constantly consume, right? So I need everybody to realize that there is a completely another way that we were all designed to be living in this place. It was never to consume, right? We all, your energy is through a much higher form when we get it from the sun, from the moon, from the rocks, from the trees. Eating food is literally the lowest weight, the lowest vibration of energy to put in the body as an energy. Um, it's always going to keep you, especially when we eat the animal flesh. So think about what it's doing on a psychological aspect. You're eating that animal's fear, doubt, worry, sickness, and we become what we eat. Whatever you put inside your stomach, it turns into the body. Right. So when we eat these things, this is going to become part of your vibrational field. It's going to become part of your thoughts as well. So
Yeah.
so when we're going back to what people should do when we're coming out of a religion, we have to understand that we have to break everything that we were ever taught down like a shotgun and throw everything we think we know about this place out the window. And what we need to do now is, because you've been lied to about every aspect of your existence. So now what we do is we rebuild inside of our mind, our construct, with a childlike sense of wonder. And this is from your firsthand experience only. So this is not putting your power outside of yourself anymore. So you're going to start to trust ourselves in a way that we've just never done before, because this is the temple, right? So we learn to go into the temple and dwell within instead of going outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had mentioned about food. Now, would you say that the ancients and a lot of ancient religions who say don't eat pork, like they were referring to this type of energetic block because of how they say how filthy the pig is?
Yes, man, most definitely. They were, and also it's not just that. Even food has been used to manipulate our people since for eons, right? It's the number one tool that any type of controller or oppressor would use against its people, right? So we live in a day and age where they have engineered and modified the food as a weapon in order to keep you sick, to keep you stuck in lower vibrations of consciousness. When we're going into the grocery store, the only groceries that are in that place is the produce section, right? So this is where we have to change the way that we completely buy food. And again, this is where we start, man. This is putting your foot down. And as you make this decision, every aspect of your life will blossom and bloom, right? I want to invite anybody that's never tried an all plant-based diet, try it for 30 days. You will never go back to eating that shit ever again. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more clarity, more energy, more focus, more love, compassion, and empathy. On just the exact decision to stop eating animals, you get an expansion in consciousness just from that. You're getting a level up in empathy because now we can empathize with animals and understand that we're not supposed to eat them, right?
Now, what would you say to those people who there's a lot of people who watch this who strongly follow Buddha and his
Sure.
principles. And what would you say to some people who would say, well, Buddha used to eat meat? What would you say to those people?
I would say that Buddha's a beautiful teacher. We learn from all of these masters from the past, right? But one of the things that we must all take into consideration is that every bit of information that you have from the past is literally given to you by your controllers, by your oppressors. They have taken sacred text and deciphered it and changed the language around to where you don't get the exact information. They manipulate it, right? And this is what they've done with every major religion. This is why it's so important that when we wake up, when you try to go outside of yourself, when we look out into the world, this is the world of Maya. It's the world of illusions. So if you're trying to look out with your physical eyes to get any type of understanding about this place, it will only end in failure and chaos. So what we learn to do is we learn to go within. You have every answer that you would ever want to know inside of yourself. Right. So when we think about, most people think about their subconscious mind as somewhere up here, right? What we need to all learn is that the subconscious mind is the body, that the subconscious mind is also the whole entire world around you, right? The mind is all. Everything here is coming from the mind. So the more work you do on yourself, this is why your outward reality changes.
Yeah, you said the more work you do on yourself, the more your reality changes. And again, it goes back to religion, where it's not good to just, well, I'll just put it in the guy upstairs in his hands, and I don't have to deal with it, and everything's going to be okay. No, you have to deal with stuff yourself.
And this is even with other practitioners using deities. Deities are great to work with, but again, we learn to never put our power outside of ourselves, right? You are the deity. You don't worship other things. This is where this generation has taught you to go in the opposite direction, right? So we need to understand that the God is within. You are the God, and we learn to heal and fix every aspect that makes us not a god, right? And this is when you pull everything society has indoctrinated with you out of your life, man. This is when the magic begins. This is when the real life starts.
All right, I agree. I agree. Well, that was a very, very, very good explanation on the solar plexus. Anyone who's watching, check out Kenneth's services. Links below in the video description. Check out his social media pages. That's all good stuff. Kenneth, thanks again for your time.
It's a pleasure,
It's good
man.
having you back on.
I'll see you soon.
Yep, and everyone who's watching, like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery.